Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to go through if-then-else statements in Haskell, and they are basically built up very similar to other, or at least similar to C, in the case that it says if, and then it's a condition. And if this is true, or this is met, and then something happens. And if this isn't met, then else and something else happens. Okay, so this is basically the definition of the if then else statement. So let's say that we wanted to put that into a function, and we write the signature that is even. It takes in an integer, and it returns a list of characters. That's basically a string in Haskell, but we don't have string like the type string, so we instead create a list of characters. So let's say that we wanted to check if an argument x here is even by this definition. Then we would say that just like this, if, and you see that it becomes pink, and here we would have our condition, right? So let's say we wanted to check that x is even. We could type x modded by 2. That should be equal to 0, right? And that's basically the definition of an even number. If you take 4 here, 4 modded by 2 is 0. But if you take 3 modded by 2, that's 1. So then if this is true, then we fall into the first here, into the something, or then something. So then we can type even, right? Because if this is true, let's say that if the argument is 4, it's true, so then it's even. And if that isn't true, then we fall into the else pocket here, and then we could type odd. So let's say that we ran this program. Let's say is even 5. That's odd. Is even 4. That's even. So now we basically have this. And now you could do loads of things with this. Let's say that we had instead an int as the return. Let's say that if this was even, then we wanted to return x by x, and if that's if it's odd, then we wanna return just x plus 1. Let's say that. And if we were to run this again, so is even 4 should basically become 4 squared, which is 16. And is even by an odd number should fall into this pocket and would basically just return the next number, which is 4, maybe to make it even. This could also be written as successor of x. That should be the same thing. So if I sent in 3, it should be the next number, basically the number after x. So yeah, this is a very simple use of the if then else function. We could also build, let's say this is squared and this is successor. We could also build a squared function and say that that takes an int and returns an int, and the definition is that it takes x and returns x by x, and then in here we could type squared x, right? That will be the same thing. That's just an example of basically chaining these functions together to create programs. And if I were to type is even 10, it should be 10 squared, which is 100. So yeah, that's basically the introduction to if then else statements in Haskell. And we'll be diving into more depth in this in the future. But yeah,